Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mide Nancy. If you're new here, you're welcome. I'm super excited to have you on this space. Today, as you can see, I have two guests with me, and in today's video we're going to be talking about how to position yourself for opportunities in Europe before the end of your master's program, or before the end of your studies, or after your studies, because I've had so many people send me messages like, oh, after my master's in France, after my studies, what next? What should I this video is just going to answer so many of those questions. So if this sounds like something you're interested in watching, keep watching and let's jump right into the video. Okay, so guys, this video is going to be a Q&A. We are lucky enough on this channel to have this person to have this person in our midst, to have this person come on the channel to talk to us, talk to everyone, and we're also happy to have her on the channel. So please, could you guys introduce yourselves, please, and what do you do, and maybe just to say something before we get talking.
Chakaban, you can start now.
Me.
Yes, now
Oh,
start.
sorry. Hello, viewers. My name is Timon Tete, Nigerian, obviously. Currently work as the global social media strategist for GI Group Holding. It's a recruitment company based in Italy, but with branches across Europe. And I'm privileged to manage the global social media strategy across all our countries. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Okay, hello viewers. My name is Josephine Oine Abo, and obviously I'm a Nigerian, proud Nigerian. And currently I just finished my master's in intercultural relations and international cooperation in the University of Lille, France. Currently in search of a stable job and stable life, I would say that. Yeah.
Okay, and I guess if you're not new to the channel, you already know who I am. If you don't know, go and watch those other videos, okay? Um, I'm going to move to the next question.
Why are you
How
such a
did you
baby?
how did you find
Go on.
yourself in France? Like, how did you happen to be in France as a Nigerian?
Well, I mean, my story to France was not really planned. The reason because I was supposed to go to Austria. I got an admission to study in Austria, but some things happened. They frustrated me at the embassy in Abuja. So I found myself coming to France. I applied for the master's on the last day, actually, a few minutes before it was going to end. So that's to show you the plan was not to come to France originally. Luckily, and by the grace of God, I got accepted. This was in 2016. I got accepted. My application was accepted to study international strategic communication at the University of Burgundy in France, 2016. And yeah, so I would say that's how the story started. But if you want to know more, I guess you're gonna ask more of those
Yeah, I'm
stuff.
going to
Yeah.
ask more
So that's
questions.
it.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, and how did you get to France as well?
Okay, I think we share almost similar beginnings because it wasn't planned as well. It was in 2020. I had already started my master's in University of Lafayette, Federal University of Lafayette. I had started my master's program there, and then boom, the opportunity came to come into France to teach French, and of course, why
To
wouldn't
teach
it
English.
to teach English? Sorry, why wouldn't it jump on that? So I left the masters and I came down to France, and afterwards, after my first contract year, I'm like, why don't I just apply to have my master's done in France? I mean, international certification, and voila, here I am.
Okay, thank you so much for that part. The next question I'm going to ask you is, how has it been so far? Like, your experience, your life, how is it different being here? Like, can you tell us more things about that? Like, can you shed more light?
Yeah, absolutely. I think my sojourn or stay in France has been quite interesting because, like I said, it wasn't really planned, so it was more like a rushed stuff. So I didn't have enough time to research. You know, I can remember when I came in on the 12th of September 2016, dragging my bags at Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris. not knowing how to pronounce Pokmayo correctly. I was saying Potmalot, and everybody just kept moving across, and going to the university, arriving at 3 a.m., being told by the lady at the reception that, oh, your name was not on the register, so we can't, let you in. I slept outside. My first day in France, I slept out in the park. Second day, I was able to get a room, all because it was all messed up. And the story I'm trying to paint here is, if you don't speak French, it's always very difficult. Of course, no apologies. It's a French country. I mean, the official language is French. So, but I never got myself prepared for that reality. So it was a struggle, even though I came to study an international program, but I needed to relate to the environment around. But I didn't really let that, pull me down. The focus was, come here, get a degree, and see how best your life would go. And ever since, I think it's been interesting. I did a master's. Just after the master's, I got a job that took me across Europe, more often to the Netherlands. And beauty career from that, and the same career I'm still enjoying right now. So my coming to France has been, I would say, blessing, because all the things I have right now, of course, with God's grace and everything, happened just because of me coming here. So the opportunities here, and it's just a matter of like knowing what you want and knowing how to get those opportunities, and you get it.
Okay. Do you think that your not being able to speak French, do you think it affected you in any way? Because I have more viewers who don't actually understand French and they want to come to France. Do you think it was a limitation in some and I feel like maybe your story was a rare case. What do you think?
Very rare.
I think it was a rare case, because I mean, it's difficult even for people who can speak French and are in France, and you couldn't speak French,
and I still do not speak French.
And
he doesn't really care, actually. You're not making any effort.
He still doesn't speak French, and is working in, you mentioned it's one of the like top companies in Europe. So what do you think? Language barriers, like, have you really had any problems?
Yeah, I mean, I think it also goes back to what you want from the start. When I came in, all my life it's been communications. Okay. And in the field of communications, language is very important. I knew that I was going to struggle if I started learning a second language in communications. There's no way I would make it. Because for me to be proficient in French in communications, it's like starting all over again. So I said, okay, I'm in France, so I need to focus on English. Okay. Since I studied communications and everything I have to do around communications, was going to be in English, I didn't even bother myself to start adopting a second language, because there's no way I'll be proficient in French to work in the field of communication. So I focused on English, and I only focused on opportunities that came in English. So all the jobs I got, all the jobs, just 2 jobs out there, companies I've worked with, the roles I had, I had in my previous job, and the role I have right now are focused on international. I mean, it's an international role, so global. In a global role, language is not a limitation. Luckily, the official language in most countries, it's English. So I would say favored or lucky. I won't really say lucky, because I already had this from the beginning. It was a plan when I came in. Like, no, don't even try to
venture into French.
Nah, just focus on English. So I was only interested in opportunities that gave me the freedom to work in English across countries. I live in France. My new job also, I have to go to the office in France from time to time. I need to go to the office in Milan and everything, So when I move around, it's English. But the truth is, living in France without speaking French is a problem. But when I look at it, I mean, I'm not sure I should say this, but my income is not tied to speaking French. Okay. If I speak French or not, I'm still going to get paid. So speaking French, for me, it's more like, if I want to do it, I want to do it. Okay. Because it does not in any way affect my income. But maybe, if speaking French would somehow affect my income. Yeah.
So why don't you just prepare before the time comes? I mean, I've living in France for almost how many years now?
That'll be so embarrassing to say.
I mean, okay. What is the best way of learning a language if it's not through immersion? I mean, I teach French, so I know that part. You need to be in a society to learn the language. Absolutely. But you're trying to tell them now that you didn't make an attempt to even learn the language. Well, I mean, in the streets, in the supermarkets, the offices and colleagues and all of that.
Actually did. Okay, in my defense, the thing is, because of my role, I really do not spend so much time in France, and
Okay.
that's the truth. My role
Okay.
takes me across Europe.
Okay.
You know, though I'm physically in France right now, even in my last job, I was more of the time in the Netherlands
Okay.
than I was in France. You know, I
Okay.
was recruited by a French company, but working in the Netherlands more often. So yeah, the only time I came to really stay in France, properly, or I mean, to settle and do more of my job in France was in 2020 when when I moved back and everything. So I would say because of I live in France, but I do not. I don't. I live in France, but I do not stay in France because my role is always taking me out. But that's not an excuse. But the thing is, I get to relate more with internationals.
Okay.
My role, I get to relate more with internationals. Even the friends I have in France are more internationals. The local people. I mean, the French people I have as friends. Even when I meet them and I tell them, "Oh, I want to speak French," they want to use me to improve their English. At the end of this, I'm like, okay.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
So, well, what do I do now?
Okay.
So I'm like, yeah, that's
Okay,
it.
faultless.
Okay. So,
Faultless.
so I hope that everything that you have been saying you've been picking points out of it. So for those planning to come to France, and I mean I have lots of people sending me messages. I don't speak French. Is there a possible way that I could come to France and learn French for like few months before my studies? And I think it's illogical because even we studied French, myself and her, we studied French in Nigeria in university, and we still cannot say we are there like 100%.
No.
It's
Yep.
a constant every day. I mean, I can communicate. I do my exams in French. She has graduated with a French degree and everything, but still, there are still new things that we're learning every day.
It's a process.
You
You
can't
cannot
just
just
come
arrive.
and then you learn for 2 months and then you expect to like succeed in your master's program. It's not really done like that. So you can either take his approach, try to just I think that one thing that I could find from his story is that he was already like determined. He had a plan.
Absolutely.
He was already established. He knew what he was doing. It's not like he came here with the old spirit of Japa, like
You can
Yeah.
I just want to go.
mentality and then come this
You
far.
can't just come. So if you are planning to leave the country and you don't really have, you just want to leave because every other person is leaving, that's where there could be a problem.
Yeah.
But if you're actually leaving and you have a target, you have a goal, and he already made his plan, like at my age and I know what I'm doing, I really don't want to bother myself, and I know my field. I don't want to stress myself with trying to like get perfect in another language. I'll just stick to what I know. So that worked for him. So if you are in that kind of field as well, maybe this could be helpful. So
Yeah.
I'm going to ask Josephine now to also talk about like how has it been so far. Like I mean, I'm in my first year of masters and it's choking me. So she just completed her own recently. I mean, and I'm just gonna leave her to say something as well.
Okay, I think I might just take 1 minute of silence. Okay, that's a joke.
Who died? But
Oof, it was, I don't know. You experienced it too now,
Right.
or was your own a smooth ride?
Well, it wasn't really a smooth ride. If I'll be
It's not a
honest.
smooth ride for me personally. My experience, it was not a smooth ride, and I'm going to just bear it out there. It's like a roller coaster of different things. You're climbing and you're coming down. In fact, there's hardly a moment where you're like, woof, I'm up here, I'm happy and everything, except you choose to create it for yourself. So it's literally me trying to get, what am I saying? It wasn't an easy ride. Is it from the assignments? You have holidays, but you really don't have holidays because the holidays are filled with assignments. You need to make money because even the euros I was earning was not really enough. You're paying rent and all of that. For some of you who have people catering for, who are going to cater for your bills, I mean, somebody sponsoring you is going to be quite easier. But for me, it was like a different ball game entirely because I had to think for myself. That's the whole adulthood na scam thing. So it was not an easy ride because I had to merge work, I had to merge school, and I had to be myself. I had to try not to lose myself in the process of all of this. This might come as just words until you're there. She met me on so many occasions where I was down and she's like, is it not just this thing? It's not just this thing. And she sent me some messages about the same thing.
Yeah, like
some months later, and I'm like, okay, this is just the process. I think it's a necessary process you have to go through as long as you've not been through this system of education before, because it's a different ballgame entirely. So in summary, it was not a smooth ride, but I'm happy that I can talk about it now as a past thing. nobody said it was going to be easy, but nobody told me it was going to be that hard either. So you have to just buckle up. This is just telling you that brace up and expect the best and the worst at the same time. Sorry to say.
Oh, for you, do you think that French has been a plus for you, or it has really just been like it doesn't really have any benefits, like living in France?
Oh, absolutely, it's a plus.
Okay.
Not like him. It's a double plus because I've been posting my CV as a bilingual person.
Oh yeah.
And you know that thing, I speak English and I also speak French, but like he said, for me especially, my course is like intercultural relations and international corporations, and I'm not looking to go into education, not at all. I'm actually looking to go into the digital world, tech. So for that, you English is like what they even ask you for. You find a lot of jobs and tell you you have to speak English. And then when you put the fact with pride that English is my mother tongue or my official language, it's like a big plus for you. But regardless, I think employers want to know that you have that second language, and it's not going to be a barrier. Language makes you feel like this person belongs. So for me, it's a plus for me. And in the long term of my studies, French came in handy. Even though in the beginning there were times that I slept in class because I was like, no, I understand French, but this is too advanced and too administrative. I was doing accounting in French. I was doing law in French. I was coding code in French. I mean, things that I never did before in French. So I know the normal day-to-day familiar French, but that was too advanced for me. Come on, how bad now?
Now imagine me going into communications in French.
But then I pushed through. I mean, when you push yourself through, you always come out bigger, better, and more knowledgeable.
Absolutely.
So now I think I can work in international organizations without being scared of certain vocabularies. Of course, learning is a process, but I don't think I would be that overwhelmed like I was before when I see something like, oh, no, I'm going to like, okay, yeah, something you have to be able to like adapt. It's a process. So yeah, I think French is a plus.
Okay, so these are two different views, and depending on your field. Yeah, I guess it depends on your field, because I'm currently a master's student in translation and interpreting. I can't tell myself, oh no, I'm not going to French. So basically, I even have to like learn more languages just to keep being like on top, not on top, but I need to just be there. So now I'm going to ask another question. I'm going to ask about like, how did you position yourself? Is there something special that you did, that you think you did? How did you position yourself? Because I mean, Timon just told us about himself. Like after his master's, straight up he got a job with a big company in Netherlands. He moved. Josephine also, she's going to tell us about herself. Like now that her master's is over, like what's she doing now? Like what's she gonna be doing? Because I mean, we might, for people that are really thinking of traveling out of the country and they just really want to do like good things for themselves, we might get overwhelmed at times about life. As I am here, sometimes I get overwhelmed, like my master's, I'm gonna be done next year. What's gonna happen to me? How is life going to be? So things like that. So maybe if we just hear it's less special things that you did, like positioning yourself for opportunities.
I think the first thing is knowing what you want to start with, because just like you said, if you're just trying to leave the country for the sake of leaving the country, this is not a prophecy or stuff. You're going to suffer. That's the truth. You would really suffer. I mean, it's not like someone is trying to cross you or something, but that's the reality. You must have a plan. And the truth is, when you come over to a continent like Europe, even if you have a plan, you could be faced with so many challenges that will make you doubt your plan. So you now say, okay, do I have to do this? And some people came for masters and they left masters to start chasing women. Some people came, absolutely, because they feel, oh, that's the plan that's a sustainable plan. Some people also came from masters.
Sorry, when you say chasing women, is it the people that chase women to get papers?
Yeah, to get papers. Yeah, exactly. And some ladies also came from masters, and when they face the reality, they'll follow a man to get pregnant. So there are so many things that can happen. So the point is,
sorry to cut you. we're not judging if you are watching this video and that's
Oh,
your
yeah.
route. Everyone's story is going to be different in life.
Yeah, I'm
Absolutely.
judging though, because if you take that route, that means you're seeing yourself very, very low. I'm not going to be diplomatic. How will you? You're seeing yourself
No,
very low.
this is like, I mean,
You will suffer.
at the end of the day, everyone make their own choices in
Absolutely.
life. So
Well,
fine, we are giving our own opinions, and we are also talking about, because we are currently living it.
Mhm.
You might be back home and you are thinking that, oh, this is like what I'm gonna do. So we are telling you from our own point of view. Maybe someone else is telling you something different. So you, at the end of the day, you make your own decision.
Absolutely.
So,
but if you follow that route, I'm telling you, come back to this video.
Absolutely.
And you will suffer. Even if you're posting pictures and acting like everything is fine, you will still suffer.
I mean, that's Joe is right.
Sorry,
I mean,
sorry.
that's the reality, you know. So what Joe is saying is actually the truth. You know, there's a way to make it political, but that's also the reality. What she said is reality. So I mean, back to what I was saying, it's better to have a plan. If you're coming with that plan, no problem, face it and just head it on. But if you come in as a student, you need to position yourself for opportunities, you know, with life
Absolutely.
after being a student. But coming as a student is one of the best way to come into France, because you're immediately into the social security system and you can progress from that. But the frustrating part of it is life after, you know, your studies, because then you don't have that protection and you're on your own. What I did in my case was I had plan B, because the other option, you know, chasing women and getting a girl pregnant or everything, was not, and no disrespect to those people that followed that, with all sense of humility, no disrespect to the people that went that way. But my part was, I knew I wasn't ready for that. So I had to stay on this lane of education and
A child of
professionalism,
God.
you know. And the other part is, I don't have the power to do those kind of other kind of work, you know, and often no disrespect to the people on that side. So for me, I was focused on the path of education. And what I did was, even before I finished my master's, I started applying for other masters as a backup plan in case I don't have a job. You know, masters 1, masters 2, just okay, if this one does not work, I pick up another masters and continue. While the objective was to get a job, and while I knew I was going to go for an internship 3 months into the program, even before I left Nigeria, I already started applying for internship. I'd not even arrived France to start my masters. I've not even arrived
Your
France.
goal getting
As
is
in-
That's it, you know.
on point.
No, that's it, you know. Even while I was in Nigeria, I'd already started applying for internship,
Internships.
even before I left Nigeria. So when I came in, I started resending those emails to all those people. Okay, I'm here now, you know, I'm going to go for an internship in 3 months. I'm just booking my space in advance. I think I applied for over 100 or 200 internship every day in the library. You know, the guys back then in the job watching this video can testify to that. You know, every day in the library I was going to apply for internship, you know, applying. Luckily, the role I even got was not even from application. Someone just contacted me on LinkedIn. Oh, we saw your profile on LinkedIn that you're into social media. We need you to come join our team in Amsterdam. Boom. That's how it worked for me. You know, I got that opportunity. But what I'm trying to say is that if you are coming to Europe, come with a plan and focus on that plan, and have several plan A, plan B, plan C on that part. Just stay focused. There'll be so many things to push around, but if you're focused on that and with prayers, you know, and God on your side as well, I think it would always come through.
That was really, really enlightening.